Hi everyone, I hope you had a really good week. I hope you had the opportunity to either go swimming or sit in a nicely air-conditioned area because this week has been very, very warm. I know when I was going outside to water the garden, usually I let the dogs run around the yard to get some exercise, but it was way too hot for them in their fur coats. But I hope you guys have been doing well. I'm going to introduce this week's art project. I thought since last week we went the musical route and made your tambourines, I hope you really enjoy that project. This week I thought we could do the popsicle stick puzzle. Some supplies that you're going to need are your popsicle sticks and your markers. I'm also going to be using a pencil to kind of sketch out my design first and some tape to keep the popsicle sticks together. First things first, I'm going to take all of my popsicle sticks and I'm going to lay them flat and make sure that none of them are overlapping. So that way you get a nice clean puzzle. And once they are all lined up, I'm going to take some tape. You can use any kind of tape you have. I just have Scotch tape here. And this is just to keep them so they're, when you're drawing your design, they're not moving all around. And you can take the tape off at the end when you want to make your puzzle. A little short. All right. And now that I have them taped, almost looks like a picket fence, I'm just going to flip it around to the side where the tape isn't showing, and I'm going to start sketching out my design. I was really thinking about what I wanted to make as far as a puzzle, and since we're getting into those summer months, I wanted to do kind of like an underwater scene. So what I did was I sketched out my design on a piece of paper, and I'm going to use that as my reference. And I'm going to just start by sketching that out. So if you see me looking up, I'm just looking at reference pictures. I know when I was younger and I started getting into art, one of the things that was most helpful for me was looking at pictures and trying to draw exactly what I saw. And it definitely takes a lot of time and patience. But one thing that I've learned is even if it's not exactly like the picture that you're looking at, it's still your artwork. It's just inspired by other pictures or other people's artwork. So if you draw something and it doesn't come out exactly like your reference picture, don't get frustrated. Just remember that this is your artwork. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the movie Free Willy, but I'm trying to draw the whale from that movie. And when you're making your puzzle, you can draw whatever you want. You don't have to do an underwater theme. if you want to do a field of flowers or something completely different, you can really make it your own. And the good thing about starting out with drawing with your pencil is if you make a mistake, you could just simply erase it. Another thing to think about is, do you want to cover your entire puzzle, or would you rather just draw a design in the middle and then have the rest of your puzzle pieces be blank? There's a lot to think about when you're making artwork. A lot of things to consider. But if you do plan on covering your entire puzzle piece, it is best to make whatever figure or design first. So that way that's the first thing that is on your puzzle piece. Because if you were to go in and color each puzzle piece first and have that be your background and then draw on top of it, the ink from the markers might mix together and it might not come out exactly how you want it to be. So really, when you have a design in mind, try and plan it out a little bit more, so that way you can save yourself from experiencing any frustrations. But you don't have to sketch it out if you don't want to. All right, so here is my rough sketch of my puzzle. I have a killer whale. I have some clownfish with their houses, their little sea anemones, and some seahorses, and then right at the bottom I decided to add a little starfish just for fun. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to color in my puzzle. One thing that I would like to mention is when drawing with pencils, if you make a mistake and you have to erase something, when you're sketching, it's important to have a light hand. So when you are sketching, try holding the pencil. I should get a pencil in my hand first. Try holding the pencil closer to the eraser, because what that does is it allows more flexibility and not as much, you're not applying as much pressure. So the further down the pencil that you hold it, the more pressure you are applying. I tend to apply a lot of pressure when I draw. That's something that I've just experienced my entire life, but in hopes of trying to teach you guys from my experience, is the less pressure that you apply, the easier it is to erase something. But luckily, we are going to be going over all of our mistakes with markers. So I wasn't too worried about applying too much pressure. So I just want to show you guys really quick. This is what my puzzle is starting to look like. And what I did was I colored in each of the figures on the puzzle. My seahorses, my whale, everything that I wanted to be colored first. And now what I'm doing is I outlined all of them in the color that I'm going to do the background. So since it's an underwater scene, I'm doing blue for the background to represent the ocean. And this is what I was talking about when I mentioned about kind of planning ahead and think about what you want to make and what you want your puzzle to look like in the end. So this is just my little tip of the day. I know I didn't spend a ton of time talking during making this. Sometimes it's nice to make art, whether it be in silence or if you have music playing in the background. I try to give you guys as many tips as I can as they come, but let me know what you guys prefer. Do you prefer me to talk while I'm making art, or do you like watching me color? Almost like a Bob Ross. All my Bob Ross fans out there, you know who he is. But just let me know if you prefer me to make videos where I talk a little more. I can absolutely do that. I just wanted to try something different and see how you guys felt about it. All right, and this is my final product. Here's my puzzle. I still have the tape on the back. Like I said, if you guys want to take that off and you guys can make the puzzle yourself, you can make it as many times as you want. Another thing you can do is, since there is a back to it, you guys can even make 2 puzzles in one. How awesome is that? Some other ideas is if you are trying to work on your numbers, you guys can number the back of these 1 through however many popsicle sticks you have, and then you can put them in order. There are so many different options for this, and I think it's just a neat little activity, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I can't wait to make the next art project with you. Bye, guys.